In this problem, we're asked to graph the following linear equation. I'm actually on mathas right now with a live question. There's many ways to graph a line. I'm just going to pick one. One way is to always start by graphing the y-intercept, also known as the vertical intercept. The vertical intercept is -4. Many of you are familiar with this, that an equation can be written as in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept. Here they're not using the letter x, they're using the letter u. But in general, even if I didn't have a line, any equation, if you want to find where the graph crosses the y-axis, all you simply do is plug your 0 in for the input variable. For this example, my input variable is u, so I'd be putting a 0 there. So what I would get is -3/5 times u, but we're replacing u with 0. And then don't forget the equation has to subtract 4. Well, 0 times anything is 0, so this always comes out to be 0 with the linear equation. So I'm left with the fact that q of 0 is 0 subtract 4 is -4. So like I said, you can always get your y-intercept by looking at the number that doesn't have the input variable with it. So 0, -4 is 1 point. When I actually go to graph this, it's going to have a line here, and I need to pick a second point. So picking a second point, some teachers make you find the horizontal intercept by replacing this whole output notation with 0 and solving for u. Other teachers just let you randomly select a u value, so I could pick any u value from -10 to 10 here because that's my graphing window. Simply replace u with any number I like 2 or 3, and do exactly what I did over here to find the y value or the output, and that would be my second point. But because I'm trying to teach you what slope means, I'm actually going to use the slope of the equation to pick my second point. In this problem, my slope is, and slope is always in a linear equation, the coefficient on the input variable. My input variable is u. Its coefficient is -3/5. And one way to think of slope is rise over run. Think of rise, and think of slope in general as how you can get from one point on the graph to the other by moving either an up and down motion, which would be rising, or left and to the right, which would be a run motion, say. So if the rise is positive, that means move up. If the rise is negative, it means move down. If the run is positive, it means move to the right. If the run is negative, it would mean move left. Now I chose to put the negative on the top here, but you actually could write the equation, or excuse me, the slope, as +3 over -5. You'd get the same line, you'd just be doing it a different way. So I'm just going to pick the first way, the -3/5. So when I move over to the graph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the point 0, -4 in a minute, and then I'm going to say since the rise is -3, that means I need to move down 3. And then since the run is positive, that means move to the right. So I'm going to move to the right 5 units. Now it's supposed to be that you could instead put the negative in the bottom, which means my rise would be positive, which means to get from one point to the next, I'd move up 3. And then my run would be negative, which means move to the left 5. Now because I'm not perfect at doing this, sometimes it doesn't show up quite nicely so that you could see that they're the same. In fact, I did this video a minute ago, and I had to start over because I didn't like the result at all. But here we go. I'll try it and be a little more careful. I'm going to start at the point 0, -4, and then my first method is to move down 3 units. So from moving from this point to the next, I go down 1, 2, 3, to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to really show you what I wanted to, you really have to get that point in the exact same spot. But so just to recap, I started at 0, -4. I moved it down 1, 2, 3. Since the rise was -3, the run is +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supposed to be that I could have, instead of going down 3, right 5, I could have went up 3, left 5. So if I do that, it would have been moved from this point 0, -4 up 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this particular video, it comes pretty close. But it's just because of the inaccuracy of this graphing tool and actually me that sometimes it doesn't quite work out that well. So the computer software has to allow for some variation in the answers. This is technically not correct because it doesn't actually go through this point here, but I bet you if I submit my answer, I will get a correct score. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit submit, and after hitting submit, it says, you can't see because it's kind of cut off here, but it says score on last answer 1 out of 1, which means I got it correct.